Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Geek Beat Live. On today's show, Verizon gets rid of contracts,
China's air pollution problem,
a Roomba for your grass,
Twitter lifts the 140 character limit,
and Google learns the ABCs. It all begins now.
What was so funny about that? You can't get through the intro. Hi guys.
You came out really big with that China's air pollution
Well,
problem.
it's a big deal. It's a big story.
It is a big story.
China's big.
It is. China's very big.
And I'm big in China.
Yeah, are you big in China? Okay. It was just bigger than I expected. It was like, I was like, Verizon gets rid of contracts, and you're like, China's air problem.
This is a big deal. This is a great show we're on.
That-
You need to be excited about it.
Okay.
Hi, y'all. Sorry, you're not ready. We're not prepared.
I'd like to apologize
can you
for my
take a-
lack of professionalism.
Can you take a breath and can you bring it?
I'll try. I'll try harder next time, Gio.
No, let's talk about the first story, John. Oh, no, chit chat.
It's chit chat time. We got to catch up with everybody. You guys, how are you doing? I mean, it's been a week since we've seen you. So, are you feeling well? How's that little thing that was going on last week? Is that cleared up a bit? Good. I'm just conversing. See, they think that I actually can hear them, and
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there's a lot of issues there.
Yeah.
How was last week's show?
last week's show was
Philip.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Philip.
Does he bring it?
He's pretty fun. He's
Is he?
good.
All right, I
He's
like
good.
Philip. He's
You know,
a good guy.
he didn't sing.
That's
He did-
rare.
He did not sing for us.
He usually brings a banjo and he sings for you.
Yeah, he does.
He did not do that.
With a banjo on his
Yeah.
knee.
That's good that you had a good show with him. He's a
Yeah.
good guy.
Other things that went well this week. Emma, our new host.
Emma rocked it.
Now everybody met Gabriella over
Mm-hmm.
the last couple of weeks, but this week we also introduced another new host. Her name
Mm-hmm.
is Emma. If you haven't seen her yet, go to geekbeat.tv and scroll back and find her last episode, or find it on YouTube or iTunes or whatever.
Do I remember that it was 1084? I might.
1085. It was 1085. You're
okay.
right. Geekbeat.tv/1085.
You're welcome. So the
How
interesting.
did you? What did you think about Emma's
I
performance?
was. I called you from the road.
You did.
Quite excited.
It was about the way you delivered the whole China.
It was.
It was about
was.
yeah.
I was on the phone in traffic.
I
and
think your
boisterous.
exact words were, "Holy crap!"
There were some other words too, but yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I was impressed with her performance. And granted that it was her very, very first episode.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when she was in and she was doing it, we coached her a little bit, gave her a couple of tips, and that's all she needed.
She
was
ran
great.
with it.
Yeah.
She's not scared.
Yeah. So the cool thing about her and Gabriella is Gabriella has got this amazing background in technology. She's an MBA. She's been a huge part of the entrepreneur, specifically the tech scene. And then you've got on a different level Emma, who is very much into fitness and understands that side, which I know that you are, and obviously I am.
Right.
Into fitness
Yes.
quite a bit.
Yes.
And honestly, in tech, with GeekBeat, in the past, GeekBeat has done some things around fitness, but nothing that's ever been really terribly consistent.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's something, because that's her kind of wheelhouse that she could bring to the table.
Yeah, I think so. Also, something you will learn about her over time is she is an automotive maniac.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
she's a complete enthusiast.
Very cool.
So, I mean, she can talk car shop with you all day long, and like she probably knows more about cars than 99% of the audience.
So I'm thinking that the next time that you're invited out to San Francisco to go visit Ford for a week,
It probably won't be you going.
maybe it's her in the
Probably
Mustang.
gonna be her.
Yeah, driving the Mustang across the Bay Bridge.
In fact, on Monday, Ford is dropping a vehicle off here for us to
Really?
do a
Cool.
review. And I think she and I are going to do that review together.
That's
so you
awesome.
guys keep an eye out for that, because it'll be pretty cool. In fact, we're getting one of the first vehicles ever with Microsoft's new Sync 3, Sync version 3. So we're going to have it here on Monday. We'll do a complete review, and we'll let you guys know how that works out, because that's a big shift. They're moving off the Microsoft platform.
Will that be an opportunity to test out the new cinematography Velcro seat you have with Carter and put him on the hood of the car?
Yeah, I think
as
so.
y'all drive
I think
through
so.
Dallas?
Yeah, yeah. His mother, who's in the audience today,
Yes.
will be happy to learn about our new
Yeah.
Velcro Carter to the hood.
Well, he's providing a good service, though, because we've never tested it before.
That's right. So it'll be a good test. Speaking of things we've never tested before, you just went on a shoot this week. You have a brand new.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah. You've got a new Litro camera. Now, people who don't know what that is, that's a camera that you don't have to set the kind of focal length. You just shoot, and then later you can have any part of the image in focus. So, and you shot like a volleyball game or something, right?
Yeah, I took it to a volleyball game, and I'm going to take
work?
it out to a soccer game tomorrow night. It's definitely not like shooting regular photography. And from what I can see on the camera itself, as I got through the night, I started figuring out what settings work best, and obviously in that environment that work best, and whether or not you want to be trying to get action shots or getting kind of environmental stuff. But the whole point of the Litro, it's called the Illumine, they call it light field technology, is the fact that it's kind of capturing light data as you shoot, and then after the fact you go in and set focal points, focus points. Now, when you're shooting, you have the ability to set a focal point when you shoot also. What I saw on the camera was everything was pretty soft, though.
Oh, yeah?
When I was shooting. Even if I wasn't shooting something that was action, if I just had like a team on the sidelines and I was just kind of shooting them in a huddle or something like that.
It wasn't very sharp?
It didn't look sharp at all, and I don't know if you need. And I haven't.
Now, did you pull them out and look at them in the?
Not yet.
Okay, so
No.
maybe it's just the screen.
Yeah, and
maybe
so
it's
I'm hoping that's
hopefully.
the case.
Because I was really wondering, like, how do you control like depth of field, for example? I mean, it's very different shooting 2.8 versus 5.6 versus 10.
The lens on it is 30 millimeter up to 230, so it's got this amazing
very
reach,
long,
and it's 2.0 throughout the entire. You can't change the aperture.
So it's
set for 2.0, and that's
so then
because
after
you're
the
setting
fact, you would then, let's say, go into the software or something and say, I took this picture, but focus on this point and give me f/16.
Yes. Or you can also create what they call living images, where I assume it's like a GIF or a GIF, whatever you want to call it, or like a PNG. And basically, you set it up on the web, and then it's a still image, but you move through the focal plane on the image itself. So it's like an digital Phil would love this.
Yes, he would.
It's GIFs that come out of the image, come out of the camera.
I'm listening.
I think we're done.
I'm listening. I just want to show you guys my new toy.
Can you show? Here's the thing. I want to see how long the nails are. So what we're gonna do.
I got a new toy, folks. Check this out. Look at this bad boy. We don't even have the close-up cam.
We don't have.
What can I say?
The close-up cam is on my hand.
This, my friends, is my brand new DeWalt nail gun. Oh, yeah, it's a little low. This is my DeWalt 18-volt electric nail gun. Okay, so right now it is loaded with 2-inch nails. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Actually, you can't really take an eye out with it, because what you do is you squeeze the trigger.
That is not right.
But the nail doesn't come out when you do that. The nail comes out when you hit it on something. So you got to squeeze the trigger, get that noise going, and then hit it on something. Watch this. Isn't that awesome? You just gotta love that.
But that's very Charlie Brown quality right there.
Now it's got 2 modes. Okay, that was the one. That was like
Charlie Brown
you got to
mode?
squeeze it and do that. That's one time.
Okay.
But there's also a bump mode. You flip that, and then what you do is you do this. Oops, wait. Hang on.
Good gravy.
Oh.
Good gravy. Quit pointing it at Carter's mom.
Maybe I need to read the instructions.
Holy cow.
Oh, no, that was on the bump mode. Sorry. Yeah, you just squeeze it. And you just keep hitting it.
And then do you sand down the board to remove all of the damage you've done to the wood?
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, that was...
I guess that's for like roofing and fences and stuff. That's not for the...
I'm building junk
detail
around here.
stuff.
Don't be asking
You're
about
building
the
a lot
things.
of stuff.
I'm building a lot of stuff. You guys will see it later. I have one other cool toy I just had to show you guys. It's not really a toy, it's a tool. It's this thing. It is the Gorilla Gripper. The Gorilla Gripper. You're looking at it, you're like, what in the heck could you possibly... What would you do with that? Here's what you'd do with that.
Grip gorillas with it.
You'd have a big piece of material like a sheet of plywood.
Yes.
Imagine this is a 4x8 sheet of plywood.
Okay.
What you do is...
Or
You just put
4x1 sheet of caulky stuff.
Yes. You stick that there like that, and then you can pick the whole thing up with this one handle and walk around with an entire 4x8 sheet of stuff.
I could see myself walking around town on a weekend night with that, saying, "Hey, look at my board."
All right, smartass. I like my tools, so leave me alone.
That's terrific.
They're pretty cool tools. Okay, guys, don't go far, but go get you something to drink. No, don't go anywhere because we need to pay for this show, and we've got commercials coming up. So stick around and help support the sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Good.
Our chit-chat session was quite long today.
It was very long. We're chatty.
Even though you don't like to chat very much.
I hate chatting.
You're not a very chatty guy, but...
Ask Slack. I show up in Slack about once every 2 weeks. I say 2 things and leave.
Yeah, Lee would like to know, does Lytro use proprietary software?
Oh, yes, they do, and not good reviews on that.
Wow. And Hubert suggested that that was the Fisher-Price nail gun.
It was not the Fisher-Price nail gun, Hubert. You were not standing here.
Did it scare you?
You know, you having something like that in your hand next to my face.
That's all it takes?
Yes.
That's it, huh?
Because I didn't get this. I don't know.
Right.
I got this.
Digital Phil said that I literally nailed that
segment.
segment.
That's funny.
That is true. I literally nailed
Terrific.
it. Thank you, Digital Phil, and it felt good. I am not going to lie. It felt good.
Is that what that red light does? I'm going to say that every time so someone can go, oh, he doesn't even know what a tally light is.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Every time. It is hard to follow those. I think there needs to be another technology.
Oh, he's posting pictures and he's telling us what they are. He posted one that I couldn't tell, and he says that's you pouring vodka into Topo Chico.
All right.
So now, thank you.
Phil.
Thank you for the play-by-play there.
Appreciate you, Phil.
Yes, Lee, you grip gorillas with the gorilla gripper. Let's go. All right, let's do it.
Bossy.
Here we go.
Sassy.
Somebody's trying to keep us on track.
Sir. We will rigorously handle capital allocation and work to make sure every business is executing well. A bunch of hooey, a bunch of hippies over there.
Sounds like a good time to come back. All right, let's go. 3, 2, talk.
Hey guys, welcome back. I hope that commercial break was exciting for you. It was definitely exciting for us, wasn't it?
I want there to be an intro. I want there to be music and a.
Oh yeah, you know what I just thought of?
There's
it
none of that
just
anymore.
hit me. We had a new intro today, didn't we?
We had a new intro today.
Show me that
Amazing.
intro again, Carter, because I just totally flew right by me. We had a brand new intro today.
It's quite professional.
Let's see that intro. He got kind of fancy with that intro, didn't he?
And I'm going to suggest that he was motivated to do that because all that video was shot by him.
That's true. It was probably all shot by him.
Yes, top quality stuff.
High quality
yes.
H2O.
Yeah, but he's like, you know, how do I work my touch onto the show?
You think that's
I'm going to
what
make
it
a
was?
new intro. I'm not going to tell anybody.
Nah.
I'm just going to make a new intro, and I will say that is much better than the Geek Street intro.
I don't think so. Can we see the Geek Street intro? That's my favorite. I really.
Oh,
eventually, don't worry. Eventually, we're going to get to news here. But right now,
he's got it ready. That is just very clip art, stock photography-ish to me.
No, I dig that music.
It's very clip arty to me.
I dig. In fact, that's the music I listen to when I'm relaxing at home at the evenings.
I was going to say that's what the kids
over a glass of wine.
That's what the That just became a gift. Digital Phil, please cut that out.
I'm sure it did.
Let's get to some news.
Okay, it's time for news. Clearly, the biggest thing that happened this week is something that really doesn't even matter, right? Google renamed itself to Alphabet.
Yeah, they did, and it's really interesting. It caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah, we're like, what?
We're totally by surprise. And it's weird because, well, so what happened? Google takes itself and creates, what do you call that? A conglomerate?
I guess.
A umbrella company?
Yeah.
An umbrella company?
Yeah, like a parent company.
And splits out Google, YouTube, the AdWords, all that kind of internet-y stuff by itself. And then takes all the other nerdy stuff like self-driving cars and
labs
SpaceX and labs and stuff and they're by themselves. Now, here's the weird thing. They say that they're going to start reporting on all these different projects as separate businesses.
Which I think is great, and actually that's one thing that big companies like this get dinged for in the investment space is, well, where are they making money? Where are they losing money? You know, how can they be more efficient? There's no transparency, so they said this will give them transparency.
Well, it will, but and I'm not an investor. I'm not savvy to this stuff. A couple of things that kind of come to mind with that. Number one, all these other projects, they're projects.
Yep.
They don't generate income.
No, not at least not yet.
So their reporting is going to be, here are the buckets and buckets of money we're dumping into this.
Yeah.
It seems like investors would not be happy to see those numbers because it's going to make them realize how much money is going away from shares values.
Well, I agree with you in one sense. There are certainly people who will look at that and say, you know, why are you dumping all that money over there? But hopefully they will say, I think we have the track record that's adequate to demonstrate that we generally give good return on capital.
Well,
and so there will be things that they dump money into that just are losers, but they will kill those quickly, hopefully, as they've done in the past, and then keep flooding more money into other places. I don't know.
So as greedy rich people would do,
Yes.
if they come back and say, I think we have a great track record of returning money, you know, a good return on your value, on the value of the stock, wouldn't greedy rich people say, but you could be doing more?
Probably.
And that's pretty much what happens to companies and
It
stocks.
is.
I mean, they're always
yes,
looking.
you're right.
And as a layperson, the reason why I don't have buckets of money is because I will look at organizations and go, look, if you're generating 26% profit consistently, that's a good thing, right? But the stock market says, no, it needs to be more and more, instead of just saying, this is good, keep making money. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with ABC.
It will.
Because there is going to be, if they do the reporting the way you say, there is going to be a lot of insight into them spending money on balloons floating around the planet so Africa can have internet.
That is true.
Don't know if the guys in Wall Street care about whether or not Africa has internet. Just don't know.
But the guys
Free
in
internet.
Wall Street, one thing they do care about, their cell phones. And their cell phone bills.
I've got backup data here. Hang on.
Do you have backup data?
Yes, I did some research. When you were busy running around not being here on time, I was researching.
Wow. Well, you're clearly more prepared than I am. But the next story is a big one. It affects more U.S.-based wireless phone people than anyone because Verizon has now killed off the contract.
Yes.
They were the last of the major carriers who were making people sign up for contracts.
Oh, were they?
Yep. AT&T doesn't do anymore. Nobody else, everybody else dropped that except for them. And I think they had to finally bow to pressure because they were losing clients.
Don't the other carriers still have traditional contracts? They just added the ability?
No, well, I don't think so. Because what the other ones are doing now, because I switched from Verizon to AT&T actually, and there was no contract. Now, there is one thing you can do, which is something Verizon is also doing, which is, let's say you want to buy an expensive phone. A lot of people were relying on the subsidies to get like their $600 phone for $200 or something. And what they're saying is, we don't do subsidies anymore, but we'll kind of finance the phone for you. So if you wanted that $600 phone, instead of, $200 one time up front and then pay more on your monthly and you're committed over time, what you're going to do is you're going to pay $27 a month, which is essentially the finance payment on it. But you own that phone.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's portable and everything else, and you have to pay it off because it's a debt just like a credit card. Yeah. And that's what AT&T was already doing, and now I think Verizon is doing that as well.
So and Verizon has that option, and I'll have to go back and verify because I don't want to embarrass you in public.
Yes, thank you.
But I think
feel free. Wrong. I am constantly embarrassed that way.
I got the impression that part of the reason it's a big deal is that what Verizon is doing is they're offering this, and they're not offering. I mean, they're offering the payment for you can get a phone and you can pay it off, but the requiring the 2-year contract, that is not an option anymore. I don't know what.
You mean that you can't get one?
You can't get one, period.
Yeah, you can't get one.
So
the only people that will have a contract anymore on Verizon are people who are currently under a contract, and if you want to keep it, they'll let you to grandfathered in on whatever it is. But you know, eventually you got to make a change to your
let's do
plan, and
some
when
math.
you do, you're off your contract.
Let's do some math here. So based upon what I have with my sweet, sweet family,
Yes.
we essentially have 5 phones on a family plan on AT&T. Keep the number simple. We're paying about $500 a month. Okay, that includes a couple of the payment plan phones.
You guys pay a lot for phone service.
We do, but we're getting 30 gigs of data. I have 2
That's a lot.
teenagers.
Okay.
So, and the teenagers utilize the 30 gigs
You
of
can't
data.
require them to be on Wi-Fi? Hey, by the way, Carter, are you seeing this? They're complaining about one of our microphones having some buzz. If you guys are getting some weird sounds, sorry, we'll get Ken in here to fix that in the next commercial break.
I'm sure it's John's.
Probably. Usually is.
So on our
$500 a month.
$500 a month, 5 phones. 2 of those are payment plan phones, so it shouldn't be that much. It probably should be around $420 after taxes and all the fees and stuff. I went and I did the math on 2 years of Verizon on their plan, and the 2 years on the AT&T plan I have. And basically on Verizon, over 2 years, for the same type of plan that I have now, the total cost would be about $15,800. Over
You
2
could have bought a
years.
car for what you're
Yes.
paying for phones.
That's on the new Verizon plan. That's 32 gigabytes of data.
How much would it be on AT&T?
AT&T about 13,000.
So it saves you about $3,000.
On my current plan does.
Yeah.
So it saves me about $3,000. So, you know, in the articles that talk about this, they say that that'll save most people money, but some not.
Some it'll be a little more.
You know, and obviously, I mean, I would assume that plans across different carriers are fairly similar. I don't know. I've been on AT&T since the dawn of time, so I've never tried any other ones. But yeah, I'm kind of, I go back and forth on whether I feel like as a consumer that's a good idea. Because I mean, having somebody walk in and drop down, you know, $600-700 for a phone, that's a lot to bite off.
That is.
I mean, and people don't think of phones as being like computers, but they are.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's especially a lot to bite off if you lose your job.
Oh yeah.
Like about 10% of Lenovo's global workforce is about to lose.
That was a nice segue.
Did you like that?
Wow, that was sexy.
Was that like, out of a 10, what do I get?
Like an 8.
That's not bad. I'll take a solid 8.
was
Anyway,
nice.
the story is that Lenovo, who recently bought, from last year, bought Motorola from Google for almost $3 billion, has been suffering a bit.
Yes.
Apparently, revenues rose for the company by 3% to $10.7 billion. However, the expectation, as you were speaking earlier, analysts said, oh, well, you know, growing your revenues, that's not enough. We expected you to hit 11.3 billion. You only hit 10.7 billion. So, and also net profit dropped by 50% to 105 million.
Here's the funny thing.
This is the funny thing. Analysts said it would have dropped even more. It dropped less than they said, but the revenues were a little less than they said.
So they get punished.
So right now their stock is the lowest it's been in 2 years. Time to lay off 10% of the workforce.
Do you think that the general public pays enough attention to, like, you know, Lenovo's had issues with, you know, putting hacking devices, pieces of software on computers.
Yes.
And sifting through people's data and things like that. Do you think the general public...
Allegedly.
Oh, please. Do you think they're even aware? I mean, having to account for the fact that the PC market is down, period. I mean, the only people that sell more computers year over year right now is Apple to begin with. So all PC makers typically are hurting, but why? Because Lenovo to me is a strong brand.
Lenovo's awesome.
Terrific products.
Yeah.
So
they literally make some of my favorite PCs, like the Yoga 3 is freaking awesome. Okay.
I want an answer.
Anyway. Oh, I didn't really. I don't know that you finished the question. Do people what? Do people pay attention?
Do things like the hacking? And I think that's a huge problem.
It's not really hacking. Okay, that's a totally different story. But
they are robbers.
Okay, here's the story. Okay, the story is this: Lenovo has loaded into the BIOS of the actual PC some software so that even if you if you blank the PC, when you start it back up, it goes and downloads some software from Lenovo. Now, some people, there's 2 ways to look at this. One is,
Robbers.
What the hell are you doing?
What
That's
are you
basically
doing?
But there's another way to look at it, which is that people who are less savvy, who blank their computer for some reason, and they need it to start back up the way that it was when they bought it, this thing makes it that way.
Who goes and accidentally formats and partitions a hard drive by accident?
I don't know. But I am not running their
Are you
support
being-
department,
are you
so I
being
don't
paid
know.
by them?
I am not. I'm not.
I mean,
not-
how is that possible?
I am trying to be neutral here.
Why,
I'm saying
why do you
there's
need to be neutral?
There's two sides to the story. I don't know what they are.
Are you neutral with ISIS?
Yes.
Trying to be neutral? I mean, how is there possibly... I just brought ISIS. We're screwed.
Yes.
I brought ISIS into this.
Now they're going to bomb us. We actually have one more
Are you ready to
story,
move
which
on?
I definitely want to get to, but we have to take a commercial break real quick. So come back because this next one, it's even better than ISIS.
Get through all these. There's a problem. Do you have this problem with other people?
Not getting through
Like
the stories?
taking 2 hours to go through a 45-minute show?
The only person who I've ever gotten through a show on time with was Callie. She and I used to get
We
through
know what
on
happened to
time.
her.
Yeah. So, but you know, we kind of blew through them, you know. But you know, other than that,
shocker, do not get
we
a
run
Lenovo. Honest to God, I mean, every time one
The
of those stories
Lenovo-
come up and it's like based on analysts' expectations, based on they don't know how do they. What?
Yeah,
And so you punish the company because you guessed and they didn't hit the mark that you
guessed wrong. Yeah.
Idiots.
Although sometimes
That's why I don't have any money
management,
because I hate that.
sometimes,
And other reasons.
sometimes management does actually set those expectations, you know. But
Wow.
hard to say. Okay, let's come back because I got.
Wait a minute. Oh, goodbye, Geek House. I thought I made some mad. No, he's saying goodbye because
Right, because they're gonna blow.
Terrorists are
Oh, do
coming.
we need to fix a mic? Do we have a microphone problem? Is there still static on the line, guys, or what? Are you still? And which of our mics was having the problem, or do you couldn't tell?
It's Gia's. There's just like every once in a while there's a pop, like a static interference pop.
Okay.
Ken's gonna come and change the frequencies.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
What's the frequency, Ken? Trent? 940. I don't know how to do that. Dude.
Yeah, you ask that as if you would be able to fix it.
It's 9.4. I'm the eye candy, dude.
He was looking for Siri on it.
Shocker says
Hey, Siri.
ISIS would cut my head off, but no one wants it. I don't think they could. I don't think they could do it.
Terrorist bowling.
Terrorist bowling, that'd be fun.
Is the pot because my phone was sitting right next to it?
Look, here's the thing. If my head ever does get cut off, I want my
It's gonna hurt. We know that.
Yeah, but after that, I want my skull placed inside of a bowling ball, like in that movie
Like
with
acetate or whatever?
Yeah, with
Oh,
Janine
that'd be
Garofalo,
awesome.
where she had the skull of her father in a bowling ball.
Can we do that next week? Do it with a squirrel. We don't have to do it with your head. Do it with a squirrel skull.
Sounds good.
Big dog squirrel.
Sounds good.
But if it was a dog,
then we'd have
then
a
not.
very small bowling ball. If
Golf
it was a
ball.
squirrel,
Ping pong.
ping pong, a squirrel head ping pong ball. Okay, now we can come back. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this next one.
I'm all worked up about it.
Okay. You gonna bring us back from commercial break?
No.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Does my mic work?
Yes.
Is the buzz gone? Chatters? Chitty chat? I'm feeling burpy now.
Nice.
The Topo Chico. No, we're good. No, professional.
Welcome back to the show, guys. I'm John P. That's Giovanni.
Hi, I'm Giovanni. What he said.
And we didn't get to this story before the break, and it's not quite time to move on to gadgets because this next story is great. Okay? So I don't even know how to tee this one up. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to read it to you right now. Women in tech events are anti-male, says men's right activists.
So I've never come across this. There's plenty of events that are focused on women or focused on minorities and things like that.
Uh-huh.
the thing that's interesting about this is within the article, they're claiming that men are denied access to some of these events.
Well, okay, to start with, in California specifically at least, there is a law called the UNRRA Civil Rights Act.
I wonder if that was a typo.
Which prohibits businesses from discriminating based on factors such as sex, race, religion, and disabilities. Now think about this. There are already public laws that, like government, that prohibit discrimination for government type things and loans and stuff like that. But this is private businesses are prohibited from discriminating. So what's happened is there's a group of men's rights activists.
Mm-hmm. Three separate groups.
No, there's a whole, well, there may be multiple groups.
Yeah, not three guys.
Right, there are groups of men's rights activists who are claiming that when people do these events like Women in Tech and they don't let men come to it, that violates the law and they sue you.
Well, I mean, to the letter of the law, it does violate the law.
Yeah.
And there's no question. I've never.
Do you think those men are being discriminated against?
I think there's no question that technically they are being discriminated against. I mean, that's the definition of it.
Should they be allowed to be discriminated against?
So here's the issue, and this opens up a whole can of worms. Number one, if you're going to say that women have the right because of for safety concerns or because of the topics or because women want to feel safe in these events, if they should have the right to exclude men because the event is women focused, you have to then open that up to every other group that wants to do the same thing,
okay,
even if you find their behaviors or their group or whatever they're doing, whatever they're putting forth, being something that is hurtful to society.
So like KKK events should be allowed to be whites only.
Or anything like that.
Or Black Panther events should not allow Mexicans in there.
And I'll tell you, I mean, there are plenty of groups that are very pro their niche. I mean, you think about when you bring up things like the Black Panthers. I mean, La Raza is very much about the Hispanic race, and they are very much. I don't know that they discriminate against non-Hispanics, but they're
very ethnocentric.
Very ethnocentric.
Okay,
and
I didn't even know that group existed.
Yeah, I mean, the group is named The Race.
Oh, okay.
And it's a huge rights group for Hispanics and for immigration issues in the United States. And you would probably think that they would expect to be able to keep people outside of their group that aren't a member. And I don't know this for a fact. I'm talking out of my part of my body.
We don't let facts get in the way here.
But if the question is whether or not, these events do this, I don't think they'd have a lawsuit if it wasn't the case. And if number two, if that is by the technical reading of the law discrimination, of course it's discrimination. Right. Now the issue is,
should you feel sorry for those guys?
I don't feel sorry for the guys. I think that these guys are taking advantage of the law and they're pushing back. Just like anybody. I mean, whenever the pendulum swings one direction or the other too far, then you have people come up and you can go back to all kinds of things in our history where the pendulum swings too far, and then we push back and we kind of try to get it level set. And I don't know what the solution to this is.
You know who likes the pendulum swinging back and forth?
Sounds like a segue.
Cats. Cats love it.
I did not even look at this story because I don't like cats.
And it is gadget and app time. So this is a fun one. Actually, I'm not so into cat stories on the internet. But check this out. Don't we have some video, Carter? This guy decided he heard somewhere that the reason cats are always roaming around the house everywhere is because it's this kind of predatory instinct that they're just kind of keeping practice with. So what he decided to do was build this kind of hunting machine to feed his cat. So the cat has to go around the house and hunt for these little balls, and then it has to come and drop it into the machine in just the right manner to get its food dispensed, and that's how he gets to hunt for his food in the house.
That sounds like a really lonely guy.
Well, he's got a cat.
Oh, he's got a cat.
So
I would assume that he will end up having several cats. Interesting. I'll say that it's interesting. And anybody who has kind of a quirky hobby like that and likes to build stuff, it's a neat thing. I'm not a cat guy, so.
All right. See, there he is. Got to go drop it in there.
And he's walking through her house going, cussing whatever cat cuss words there are.
Yeah, he is.
He's like, seriously?
Why can't I just get my damn food in the
He's
bowl?
like,
Okay, I used to get it in the bowl. Now I got to do all this jumping through hoops. This is very funny. Yeah.
Every one of my friends just walks up and the food's there.
There you go. All right, well. Now this next one just confuses me. This story came through and I just didn't, I threw it in here because mostly because I just don't understand it. So Roomba just got approval from the government for a robot lawnmower. You know, Roombas, they drive around your house, they sweep your floor. That's cool, right?
Yep, very cool.
So for some reason, they went and got approval from the FCC to build a hands-free mowing robot.
And this is, I could see the value in this as a guy who has to mow every week.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But what I'm wondering about is, there are already robotic mowers on the market. Like
So why
on
are they getting
Amazon, the
approval?
RoboMow is $800. At Home Depot, the lawn bots are $1,800. Why did Roomba have to go just get approval from the FCC to be able to build one?
Is it possible that the technology within their device requires some kind of a radio transmission?
Maybe.
Boy, you really are not prepared for this.
Maybe.
Because
But I'm also wondering, why even worry about it? There's already a ton of others on the market. You're so late to the market, just leave it alone.
I don't know. Apple's always late to the market.
Not
They're
this
killing
late.
everybody. I would be interested.
You could buy one, $900 RoboMow on Amazon right now.
I'd be interested to see how this works and how they map out your yard, because the first thing that I thought about
What they do is they put little stakes. It's the exact same thing the others do. You bury a wire under your ground, and that's the boundary. And when it comes to I can't go past that. It's like in the parking lots with the anti-theft carts.
Because
so if you get to past the thing, it locks the wheel. You know, it's like that. But
because I am not mowing the neighbor's yard for free.
Right. You're not even letting your robot do it.
No, I'm not.
Wow, you don't like your neighbor very much.
The benefit of me doing the show, I did not even know that existed.
Well, now you do.
I need to talk to someone.
Maybe you could tweet about it.
I need to tweet about it. I want a review model.
You could get
I want to test it
I
out.
just gave you the best segue ever to the next story.
Maybe I could tweet about it.
Yes.
Only if it's the segue of DMing the company my request.
You could DM them with any length of request now.
This is an interesting story with Twitter taking off the limit of 140 characters on the direct messages. It's not completely gone. You still have 10,000 character limit. I think that this is the
beginning of the end?
Oh my gosh, it is like we're dating or something. It is. This is the bromance happening in front of everyone, the bromance.
In front of the world.
Wow. I just got chills, John. Look.
Right, yeah, thank you.
That's where you get uncomfortable. Honestly, though, this is them having leveled out for years and years. The growth is anemic at best. But the thing that's funny is that Twitter has a huge amount of power still.
They do.
But I think that this is them trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat. And I'm not sure what this gets them. If they go and they unload this limit, or if they allow the same character limit on the public side, it turns into something like Tumblr or Medium. There's no differentiation there. And it's kind of weird that their differentiation is right now is something that's limiting versus something that they can do that other people can't.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that popped up here that I wondered about was, okay, so Twitter, for those of you who don't do a lot of Twitter, you can do a 140 character message, and that's
really?
it.
Are you explaining that to
Secondly,
are you really explaining that to the audience?
You can send a private message to someone that's called a DM, a direct message. And it used to be that you could only DM someone if they were following you. So you could have this private conversation only with people who you followed and they followed you, and it was private. Then they opened that up so that you can send DMs to people who don't follow you.
If they allow DMs.
As long as they have in their settings, you change in your settings, I'll allow DMs from anyone. And if you do that, then anyone can do it. Now, what I find weird is they've removed the limitation on the inbound DMs, which to me seems worse than removing the limit on the public side. Because now, if I say people who don't know me can send me a DM, They can now send me a 10,000 character DM. I mean, if it's limited to 140 and they're spamming me or something,
Yeah.
I can kind of ignore those. But if I start getting 10,000 character DMs with huge pitches from Nairobi princes, you know, I mean, over and over in my Twitter feed, it will ruin the entire experience.
Well, I think if that ends up happening, they're going to have to shut it off immediately. And I don't think that
I don't think so. I think what they'll say is, oh, just turn off your DMs. And then you're back to now nobody can send me a DM unless I'm following them first. So this is a real problem for them. Their platform is not as flexible as other social media platforms, and so they're trying to find a way around it.
I wonder what the comparison is to other social networks about with the DM and the limit, because you know, I think with any other social network, people can, you know, where they can message you, they don't have that limit.
No,
and I haven't heard.
And maybe
anyone
there's no real
else.
abuse, so
Yeah,
then
I mean,
it's not a problem.
I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, if there was abuse, and frankly, I mean, if they find, I mean, your email address is public, John at GeekBeat.
That's true. Thank you.
They could spam you anyway. So
They could.
Spamming could be a problem, but I think that it's something we've learned to live with.
Indeed.
And if you know how to write against the Twitter API, start a company as that will do virus and spam detection on Twitter.
You could do that.
No,
All
that makes
right,
sense.
speaking of virus and spam detection, I have nothing to do with that for this segue to a commercial break, but we are going to do it anyway. So we'll be right back in just a minute. Hang in there.
I don't know anything about the touchscreen TV tablet thing.
I do. It's badass. But we're going to skip it, Carter.
Really?
Yeah, because we're running long, like way long. So we're going to... that one wasn't our thing, so
Sorry.
we're going to go to science right after we come back. We do
China's
our
killing all its people.
science, and then we'll do our hacks. And... yeah. Well, one of these entire sections may get cut out.
God,
so
that's a
we'll do
lot
an
of stuff
extra,
there, and I added
We're going to do an
paragraphs.
extra commercial right before.
The hacks and cheats. Just break them up into sections.
We'll do it. We'll do a commercial before hacks and cheats, and then we'll do a commercial before planes, trains, and automobiles. But then we're not going to do one before unboxing because we only have two little things.
It's already 4:09. You know, if we would have started on time, this wouldn't be an issue.
Here we go again.
Just saying. Just saying. Oh, man, wait a
Rusty's
minute.
asking if we're going to do check-ins today.
I put additional information for the science thing in because I think that you had the doc open when I added
Shouldn't
mine.
matter.
Well, it mattered because my stuff's gone.
Oh, really?
And now I'm not going to sound smart.
Did you put in a story or just
I
notes?
put additional information into this.
And you can't remember the additional information? Because we don't have enough information?
I just look pretty and talk, man. There's
That is
nothing
true.
nothing up here.
You do look pretty, Gio. I hear Carter telling us to go.
Let's go.
All right, guys, we're back from commercial break. Was that Topo Chico enjoyable for you?
I didn't even know we were ready for this.
Yep, that's because I just brought us back.
You did. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Because we've got things to do, and it is science time. It's been a while since we had science segments on the show, mainly because we're not so smart, but that's okay. We're going to do it anyway.
We're smart enough.
Big story came out.
This is a big story.
This is pretty scary because the American Lung Association data is showing some new statistics coming out of China, believe it or not. They've done some studies to put the Chinese air pollution problem into perspective, and they're saying that basically 4,000 people a day are dying in China because of air quality.
And here's the thing that's funny is that
4,000 a day.
And it's not like they're walking around going like on Monty Python and dying. I mean, it's from lung disease and things like that. But to get a understanding of what that number means. Number one, the American Lung Association said that Madera, California, has got the worst. So shout out to Madera, California, the worst air quality in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay, 99.9% of Eastern China has worse air quality than Madera, California.
So everyone in China has worse air than the worst air we have in America.
Absolutely does. And so that is crazy. They estimate between 63,000 and 88,000 people in the U.S. die from air pollution. That's 88,000 people a year. They're losing 4,000 people a day.
No. That's nothing to laugh at, but I laugh because it's so ridiculous.
Funny?
And better yet, Beijing is hosting the 2022 Winter Olympics.
That'll be better by then.
So we're going to have all these athletes go there and try and compete in that air.
Well, and the thing about the Winter Olympics is one thing the American Lung Association said is that unlike in the United States, in China the air pollution gets much, much worse in the wintertime because everyone uses oil and coal to heat their homes.
Oh, wow.
So not only is it terrible during the warm months, it's much worse in the winter months. And you've got all these athletes from around the world over there competing. That'll be, I'll tell you what though, pollution always creates beautiful photography.
It does.
So
those hazy skies are magnificent.
Gorgeous. So that'll be interesting.
Well, you know, they're just going to create more opportunities for this next story because a company called EcoPixel now has the technology to allow your doctor to examine 3D replicas of your heart or other organs in virtual reality.
Which is, it's funny how quickly, and there's, you know, Lance here at the Geek House would tell you that virtual reality is nothing new because he's been doing it for like 50 years.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how in the last couple of years how you almost never heard anything. Now, Oculus came on the scene and it was kind of interesting and kind of quirky, but you never really heard a whole ton of stuff about VR in the press. And now everything and everyone is all about VR. And it's cool to look at companies like this that aren't just doing things for entertainment purposes, but you know, being able to actually create entire new industries, say within medicine, because now you're going to have people that specialize in this because a regular doctor who's used to looking at x-rays and CAT scans and stuff, this is going to be new to them and it's going to be a new learned skill.
Well, what's also interesting is that this is kind of a partially new technology because what they're doing is they're taking virtual reality goggles and things, controls, and they're adding them to existing systems because, for example, the data that's already embedded in every MRI, every CT scan, every ultrasound image, the data that's already there, they're extrapolating and turning into the 3D model. So it's not like they had to create all new systems and then give you a new interface. They're basically just giving you a new way to look at the data they were already grabbing.
So utilizing the interfaces that are coming on the market.
Yeah, very cool.
And that's great because it's going to save, you know, not having to spend money to invest in installing systems to be able to take the
That's
pictures.
right. They just upgrade systems.
Very
and
cool.
what this means is that it opens the door for all kinds of things because let's say if they were going to have to do surgery on a heart or a lung or something like that, I mean, usually the doctor has to cut you open and take a look first before they do anything. Now, they can go through and with the virtual reality stuff, they can manipulate parts in their hand, they can look at them all over the place, and they can really pre-plan what they're going to do when they get in there so they're prepared and they don't have any surprises, practice.
And then they send the mini blood swarm drones in to do the work.
That is coming, no doubt about that.
Awesome.
Yep. All right, hacks and cheats today. We've got a couple of these because this is pretty interesting. Recently, there was a black hat security gathering in Arlington, Virginia. Now, this is where the guys sit around and talk about all the illegal type stuff that goes on. And a Spanish cybersecurity expert named Leonardo NVE, I don't know, Niv. Anyway, he introduced a mixed bag of traps for obtaining interest to and abusing satellite internet connections. So he had less than $75 worth of gadgets that he put together, and he was able to essentially hijack satellite internet connectivity, super ultra high speed from anywhere on the planet that he could then use to do hacks or whatever. So imagine some guys from, speaking of like ISIS, they're out in the desert with $75 worth of junk.
You're laughing.
And they hack a satellite to then use the free internet to hack something else. That is a little bit scary.
My brother used to, when we were young, do things like, go to Radio Shack and buy CBs and take them apart.
Yeah.
And I thought that, I really didn't understand the point of that because he liked to see what was inside. And a lot of times, it wasn't to figure out how it worked. He just liked looking inside of them. He didn't like ruin stuff. That's what this leads to. That kind of stuff is a gateway drug to hacking satellites.
Yeah, that probably is. These guys probably just had a bag of old Radio Shack parts, and one day they realized that, there you go.
So usually the period at the end of all these stories is, however, said hacker already informed the satellite companies and a patch has already been applied.
Yes, and in this case, that is not the case. They have identified the security hole, and it has not been patched.
Wow.
Okay, so I don't know what to tell you.
Wow.
Yep. All right, another interesting story, this time coming out of Russia. So for those of you who are not aware, there's a website called Reddit. It is
How does Reddit work, John?
Reddit is one of the top 20 websites in the world, and users post stories on Reddit.
Interesting.
Well, someone posted a story on Reddit about how to use psychedelic mushrooms, the illegal drug kind.
Yes.
And the Russian government came across that article and said, that is illegal content. We will now shut down Reddit.
And the post was
Not
a couple of
that
years old.
post. Yeah, the post has been up there for years,
Yeah.
but they just became aware of it. They shut down one of the 20 busiest websites on earth to all of Russia for one article.
So I'll say two things. One thing, it's been a rough couple of months.
For Reddit?
For Reddit. And it's funny because we saw the guy at the Ford event. He spoke, and that was right before. He was in a great mood.
Yeah, he was.
I can't remember his
And
name.
he
He was
just
the founder
came
of
on
Reddit.
board, yeah.
Oh boy,
Just came back on board.
And 2 days later,
Bam, 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 bad stuff starts happening.
So two things. One, if I'm Reddit, I'm thrilled that no one's talking about internal stuff at Reddit. I mean, I think right now, Reddit being in the news about something else about content and not about internal implosions.
Yes.
I think that's great for Reddit. And they're
Yeah, that's a
probably
good point.
thrilled about that.
That's a good point.
So for everything that's going on, they give you the typical responses and we responded immediately. It's really weird though how companies have to, and I understand exactly why, how they have to be aware of local laws, local culture, and make sure that their websites within those different jurisdictional areas adhere to local laws.
Well, now some people are not at all happy about the way that this went down. They think that Reddit should have held out and said, hey, this is a matter of freedom of speech. We're Americans. We let people say what they want to say. So Russia, if you don't want to do it, piss off.
Okay, so if that's the approach you're going to take, get ready for Sharia law.
Well,
I mean, honestly,
I don't know.
people
I
that
think it's
stand
the
up,
opposite because I think what we're saying is we are not going to restrict it at all, as opposed to that, which would be that is going to be highly restricted and regulated.
But-
so some people would say allowing Russia to censor the content is the
Inside
first
Russia?
step of getting to
Oh
to
yeah,
that.
but that is what their local law says.
I'm just
and then
saying.
here's the thing.
Some people didn't like it.
I am a red-blooded American.
American.
I love America.
I love
do.
America.
I'm very conservative. However, extremely conservative. However, whenever people are so self-centered and they look inside of what their view of the world should be, and they run out there and say something like, well, in Russia, we're an American company. Well, guess what? You're an American company operating in Russia.
You gotta live
If
by
you
their
don't
laws.
like it, don't operate in Russia. And for the same reason, that's why when people come over to America and they start to impose stuff and you get all riled up, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, and you can believe whatever you want to. But it's so funny how we start pounding our chest saying, don't do that to American company in
you're
Russia.
right.
But then we say the same, when you come over here, you better learn the language.
Well, I'll tell you another one.
There's a gift there for digital film.
That's right. I'll tell you another thing that's just like that if you ask me. This next story.
I'm all riled up about this, too.
This is the same exact thing you're talking about.
It is.
There is a Harvard student. His name is Aran Khanna, and he had an internship lined up with Facebook. Well, it just so happens because he likes Facebook, I guess, and he was building some stuff. He built a little app on Facebook that kind of, let's say, exploited. He uncovered the ability.
I love the name that he named this thing.
To map out where people were physically sending things from when they were using Messenger and show it on a map, okay? And he built a little app and shoved it out there, and he said, well, it's kind of violating people's privacy, but you know, it's according to your settings. Your settings say that you can do it, so here's what it looks like. Well, he pushed it out there, he's tweeted about it, he did all this stuff. What did he name it again?
Marauder's Map, which is genius.
It is a great
phenomenal name.
Especially for Harry Potter fans.
Yeah.
So he pushed it out there, and then as soon as the guys at Facebook found out about it, they said, oh, you know what? Your internship is off. Get lost, buddy.
And that is what drives me nuts. Of all places, Facebook. And I have spent years being involved with startup communities, tech communities, running developer events, hackathons, and things like that. Facebook, and here's one thing I added to the thing. Beautiful quote from Zuckerberg, of Mark Zuckerberg himself. In a closing letter, whenever he was trying to get people to invest in the company, he starts off talking about how Facebook likes to do things out of the ordinary and kind of the whole nerdy hippie West Coast thing. The last thing that he puts in his letter to investors was one of the 5 core values of Facebook for its employees is to be bold.
Yeah. Well, and also Kana said, you know, he was a little surprised because Facebook always talks about following the hacker way.
The hacker way.
Zuckerberg himself has said the hacker way.
Absolutely.
So he's hacking. He's doing and you know, what are you going to do? So he lost his internship. What are you going to do?
Well,
anyway.
One nice in punctuation on that is that he quickly was picked up by another startup company.
Good.
So he's got an internship, which is nice, because reading through the articles, I was getting very upset about the fact that this guy did something. Facebook should have embraced him and brought him on the security team to help them find other holes.
They should have.
And now he's going to bring them down.
All right, well, he'll probably bring them down while we're at commercial break, so you guys stick around. When you get back, we'll let you know if he did.
Finish this up.
All right.
I feel like having Chipotle today.
Is it not a little late for that? You didn't have
Well,
your
not for
Chipotle
lunch.
for lunch?
No, for dinner.
Oh, for dinner.
What?
Did you have it for lunch?
There's one meal today?
I
had Rusty today.
Oh, Rusty. You had to Rusty today?
Yeah.
So I'm always asking you if you want to go to Rusty Taco, if you want to go here. Yeah, it's always no. And then you go without me.
Here's a little bit of insight into me, John. I don't like people. I like being alone. I come to work and I close my office. It's not you, it's everyone.
It's not you.
It's not
it's
you.
Me. It's not you.
You.
It's me.
Everyone in the chat room, if you come over, if I seem grumpy, if I seem unapproachable,
it's not you. It's me.
I am very unapproachable, very antisocial. I'm not mean. I'm a nice guy. I just want to be left alone.
Yes.
I want to sit there and eat my taco and not chat with you about stuff.
Indeed.
Is that fair?
Yes, it is fair.
Is it rude for me to say that out loud, or am I just supposed to pretend like that's not the case?
You should say what you want.
Well, thank God I do social media for a living.
That's right. That is right.
I just wanted we transparency, you know.
Yes.
Truth, man.
I appreciate the truth. All right, let's bring it home, Cartier.
What's an MPG rating?
Miles per gallon equivalent. Equivalent, because it's electric.
I'll save that for the piece. I'll
Good.
save that for the show. Anything going on over here?
All right, here we go.
Hey, let me check my mail real quick. I'm gonna have to answer something.
You go ahead. Hey folks, welcome back. Gio's checking his email. What are we gonna do? Well, the nice thing is it's plane, trains, and automobiles time, which is my favorite time of the show. However, today we've got some bad news for Corvette owners. You know, every week we keep hearing about new vehicle problems. We've had the Jeeps.
It's isolated.
Then we had the Teslas.
But you have to be sitting on top of the engine block to be able to make it work. It's not
no,
like
it's
everybody
no,
can get
it's
access.
no. You don't have to
It's
be.
isolated.
Here is the deal. Okay, now It has been shown. In fact, we got a video. Let's watch this little clip, and then we'll talk about it here. Oh, we don't have a video?
Let's look at this picture.
Well,
though.
we have a picture of
a guy
somebody
with a
doing
cell
something.
phone.
We don't have the video. Ugh. Way to go, Carter. You blew it with your mother here in the audience. Okay, here's the deal. So these guys gained access by sticking a little dongle in the OBD2 port under the dash inside the car. And once they stuck that little dongle in the car, they wrote a little app. They are able to not only do stupid things like turn on the windshield wipers and stuff, they are actually able to control the braking on the car. Oh, now we get the video. Here we go. Do we have audio for it? No audio. Okay, so what the guy's demonstrating is look, you see it stopped. He got it up to like 5 miles an hour and safely in a parking lot. Hit the button on the app and stopped the car. All it is a physical hack through the dongle. Now, yes, you got to kind of break into the car first. That's not easier than you think,
because like imagine that we were in Europe and the steering wheel's on the other side of the car, and you're driving and I'm sitting there. I could take my device and slowly, without you noticing, reach into your lap and apply the dongle under your foot.
No, I'm saying.
I could easily get access to that
Here's
port.
the thing. Let's say somebody wanted to kill you. All they'd have to do is break into your car, stick a little dongle in the little thing, and then follow you down the road when you're going around a corner, hit the brakes on your car.
You know, what happened to the good old days?
Sending you right over the cliff.
Just cut the brake line.
I don't know.
The good old days in the 60s, just cut the brake line.
Yeah.
You find someone who lives in a mountainous area and just
I
cut
miss
the
those
brake
days. I used to do that all the time. Now I've got to resort to sticking dongles in people's cars. It's just a hassle.
But you take all of this in combined with all the other ones.
Literally, every single week, we are learning about an entire new class of cars that is being hacked to do horrible things to them, like take over the driving of the car.
And I think you're talking about not just a class of cars, you're talking about all cars.
You basically
every car now has got a computer in it.
We drive computers.
We do.
And all these computers are now vulnerable, and it's every week we're going to hear. So if your car hasn't been called out, don't worry, next week we might get to it.
You know something that is super interesting?
What?
Is that and they're not a client anymore, I worked with a company for a couple of years that had technology that plugged into the dongle and that read data and then reported back on it. And this company would report if your car got into a crash, it would call emergency services. One of the biggest things I asked, being on the kind of the marketing PR guy, was, can someone hack that? Oh, that's only read access. That's
yeah, it is not.
Oh my gosh! I mean, because and I asked them several times, and that may have been their understanding too. But they were clear about that ODBB port, port. That was a read access only.
Apparently
port.
not. Apparently not. Okay, we got one other less ridiculous story. I like this one.
Yes.
Chevy Volt. The Chevy Volt is their plug-in hybrid vehicle. I like this car. I've had them for weeks at a time, and I've driven them. I enjoy them. They're good cars. But the brand new Chevy Volt that's coming out has made some huge improvements to the battery because now it gets 40% more miles on pure electric mode than the outgoing model. It can go 53 miles on electric only before the gas engine ever has to turn on.
And even when the gas engine turns on, and I'm not knowledgeable, is it helping to recharge the batteries at the same time?
It does not do that.
Okay.
It does not do that. So the gasoline engine in the car does not act as a generator to recharge the battery. But what happens is they've got a unique transmission in the vehicle that can either be driven by the electric motor or by the gas motor or by both at the same time. And so what you would normally be doing is if you just driving around town, the electric motor is turning the transmission and that's it. However, let's say you floorboard it. You need fast acceleration. The gas engine will turn on really quickly, and both engines will push the transmission to give you more acceleration. Or if you run out of battery power and the electric motor is no longer working, then just the gas motor drives the transmission, and the electric motor goes into hybrid mode, like a Prius.
Okay, that's what it does.
And it'll give a little assist. So it will recharge the battery a little, but only enough to assist, not to be a full-time motor.
I got to use, and you get cars a lot more than, I mean, I've only gotten a couple of them to review, but I got to take one down to South by Southwest for a whole week one time.
Yeah.
And the thing that blew me away whenever I had it and to watch this technology work as a consumer, I left Dallas and took the thing down to Austin and then did my stuff in Austin and then came back on one. I filled it up here, and before I left, I filled it up. And so for an entire week, I put gas in that car twice. And the second time I put gas in it, it wasn't in need of a fill-up. I just topped it off and I came back home and had like 3/4 of a tank left when I got home.
Was that a Volt?
It was a Volt, yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't really, and you weren't even really able to plug it in and charge it every night.
No, I was at a hotel, so I was just, I mean,
Yeah.
and I was flabbergasted at how the range on that thing. And back then they were telling me about the hybrid, and I was like, blah, blah, whatever, tech talk. But I was amazed when I got back. I was coming through my receipts, and I realized that I put gas in it when I left, and even then it was almost full because they gave it to me almost full. And then when I left Austin, I topped it off, and that was it.
Yeah.
And
They do get good gas mileage. In fact, this car has a 106 mile per gallon equivalency rating. So you sometimes, if you're around town, you never put gas in it because you might plug it in every night and then you just never use gas because you don't drive more than 50 miles a day. But the electricity that you use, they convert it into an equivalency in gas mileage.
I had a picture, and I don't know if it's still on my Instagram or not, but I was driving down the highway, and it tells you, obviously, the MPGs it's getting. And I had one picture where it said like 742.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, and you're like, really?
Really?
All right, we got 2 boxes that we're going to open up real quick. But yeah, let's do that. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. And when we come back, we're going to do our check-in. So you guys who are watching remotely, get ready to tell us where you're watching from. And we're going to do our unboxings, and then we're going to wrap it up. So we'll be right back.
But a goodie, actually.
Oldie,
They used to call me that in high school.
They called you oldie but goodie?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's ironic that they said that he or she said that. You know what? I really am chosen for the Chipotle now.
You are, huh?
Oh, man, all of a sudden.
Okay, guys, it's time to check in. So everybody, let us know where you're watching from. Hit me, baby.
So how does this work? Do you call it out as I see it? Bam!
Indeed.
Turn it up. That's not.
It takes a second because they're on a delayed
They're on
broadcast.
delay, yeah, so we'll sit here for like 15 minutes and just wait.
Yeah, and then they'll start rolling in, and then you'll start
And
saying.
then they won't
them.
stop.
That's right, and then it won't. Then when you think they're supposed to be stopping, they won't stop because they're on delay. So.
But it
And
seems
we're
like some
assuming
people
that
would-
there. Wow, there was a big one. Okay, here we go.
Oh, Texas. My
That's-
quotes are in there.
That's right. Slackbot is going to totally punish us for this. So they're coming. Here they come. We're Irving, Texas. McKinney, Texas.
Evansgig, Denmark.
Ingesvang, Denmark.
Nashville,
the Great
Tennessee.
Board. Long Beach, California today, Leah's. Paducah, Kentucky, Jaybird. We've got Appleton, Wisconsin. Commerce, California. Katwijk, the Netherlands.
Quincy, Illinois.
Bucharest, Romania. At NetMag TV. Awesome.
Dallas Cowboy Country.
That's right.
Which is that's the United States.
Ewa Beach, Hawaii.
North Devon, UK. There's Lady A.
Yep. Springboro, Ohio. Nice.
And
It's coming in like really slow. Like they're like coming batches and then
there we go.
Niles,
Michigan.
Niles, Michigan, right now.
Very nice.
The chat room is I don't know what's up with our little connection, but it's coming like little
A burst and then
bursty,
nothing.
batchy things today. So
Should we blame Ken for that?
all right, we'll when that catches up, we'll call the rest out. But for now, we'll act like we're coming back from commercial break to do the unboxing.
That makes me nervous.
I know. Okay, guys, it's unboxing time. We're going to finish up the show here. We've only got 2 boxes, so it shouldn't take too long.
Let's wrap it up. Got
Would you
Chipotle.
like? Actually, we've got a bag and we've got a box. You want a bag or a box?
What am I going to be knowledgeable about?
I
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what's in them. So you got to ask the interns.
I'm gonna let you go first.
What do you want? The big one or
I'll
the
do
little
the
one?
small one.
Okay.
That's what she said.
You want me to go first? Okay, that's what she said. All righty. Well, in this particular box, we've got two more boxes. But guess what we have here? We have got our new. So for you guys,
Tell me what a Joey is.
We have here in the building a dish hopper setup. And so Dish makes a DVR/channel changing unit and all this stuff, and it's distributed. So you can have one big unit that kind of remembers everything, stores everything, and then little satellite units. Now the little satellite units are always have always been connected via Ethernet.
Okay.
However,
Are those the Hopper or the Joey?
the Hopper, well, the Joeys are connected via
Okay.
Ethernet. However, now they have a new wireless Joey, which you can put anywhere. And so they said, hey, we're going to send you one of those. And I thought that would be cool because right now we have units that sit around the building that are plugged in, but like we have, for example, this TV right here,
Yeah.
it's on a stand. It can roll around, but you can't put the dish on it. Well, guess what?
You can now.
Now you can. And this, I assume, presumably, is our little wireless unit. So this is what it looks like. It's actually good looking. Little Joey. And on the back, it actually has Ethernet capability. So I guess you can plug it in wired. It's got USB, digital optical, HDMI, power, etc. And I'm guessing somewhere in there,
Is that the same thing?
there is.
This is an access point.
Yeah, that's an access point. So that's another thing I remember. It creates its own wireless network.
Okay.
That way you don't have to put it on your wireless network and take up your bandwidth. It creates its own entire network with those two pieces.
Okay, so this is the transceiver and that's the receiver.
That is correct. That one will broadcast, this one will receive. So I think we're going to hook this one up to the back of our smart cap here. For those of you who haven't seen the other shows,
This is awesome.
This thing is cool. This is a digital whiteboard.
I played on this for like 30 minutes one day and nobody even knew it.
Look, we can just switch this over to the digital whiteboard mode, and then you can draw on it and stuff.
I love this thing.
Where is it? There it is. Look at this. Oh, you got to wait. There you go. Oh, hi.
We should have used that on the show somehow. I should have drawn the show
Yeah, you should have.
as you were.
You're a
but
failure.
I didn't. I am a failure.
Okay, what's in your package?
My package
That's what she said.
is a mouse. Look at this.
Oh, what kind of mouse you get there?
I don't know, but it's all about the craftsmanship. Do you have a knife by any chance?
I happen to have a knife.
Here we go. I've got a toothpick.
I think you've got another piece of tape on the bottom there.
Tell you what, man, Apple is up the game on packaging for tech, brother.
Yeah, this is an Apple, is it?
Oh, look at that. That is a nice.
This
no,
is
this
this
not,
is
but that's
a
nice,
this is from Myonix. Is that how you say it?
Myonix?
Myonix. What have you got there?
that is-
Congratulations.
wow,
You
that's
have purchased
nice.
a fine piece of craftsmanship. Hashtag Myonix caster. That is a good looking mouse. What is the deal with this mouse?
Ken is very slowly.
So it says right hand ergonomics, 0 acceleration sensor. It's a fancy mouse. I don't know
Dude, it
anything
feels
about
good
it.
though. Look at that. Oh.
Is
That
it,
is a
is it
good
rubberized?
feeling.
Oh, it's kind of.
That
Oh, it's
feels-
rubberized. It's got a little rubber grippy point right here. So I don't know. It says it's all about the craftsmanship. It also does happen to have a braided,
I love that cable.
very flexible cable, like a cloth-like wrapper on it. So that's nice. My
like that.
assumption is that this is one of these new, fancy, very high-resolution mice, but we don't know anything about it yet. So we are going to take that, plug it in, and do a full review for you guys, let you know how it works out. That's it for today's show, Gio. Does it pass the
Smells
smell
good.
test?
Oh, it smells like a new mouse.
Is that good?
I love the new mouse smell.
Everybody say goodbye to Gio.
Goodbye to Gio.
All right, you can follow him at Giovanni
At
on
Giovanni.
Twitter.
Yes,
And
that's all that matters. I don't do long form social media.
that's right. That's all you need. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us again. Have a good week.
I love y'all a lot. So much.
It hurts.
God, it hurts so much. I love them.
Oh, we forgot. Logandale, Nevada.
Oh, Springboro, Ohio.
Springboro, Ohio. I think we already said John before, but I
Yes,
don't know
we
how
did.
many others we missed.
That is
Okay,
a good
guys.
feeling mouse, man.
Thanks, Pop.
Hey, we tried.
Are you heading out?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay, we'll
been
see you
real.
later. Okay.
You can still get an annulment. That's legal.
He can get rid of me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, 25 years in?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's legal.
Good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching on the live show, too. We appreciate you hanging out with us. You got any big plans this weekend?
Soccer game. Shooting a Major League Soccer game with the Litro.
Oh, yeah. That should be interesting.
Next weekend, no, not next week, the weekend after, Florence, Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Pictures of hot chicks, right?
Hot chicks in fancy clothes.
All
3
right.
days of it.
Okay, guys, tweet me if anything fun comes up, or even better, hop on the Slack chat if you're not already on there. Like for those of you who are in the YouTube chat room right now, go to geekbeat.tv/Slack
Love y'all so much.
and join
Hurts.
up. We chat all the time. I especially like chatting with Lady A. She is my favorite. Everybody knows it. I make no bones about it. So, but that doesn't.
I mentioned you today.
That doesn't mean I don't love the rest of you almost as much, but not as much.
I talked about you in very favorable terms. So
There you go. There you go. All right, guys, I got to get home. Have a good weekend. We'll see you later. Bye.
mention that you've been in VR for 50 years.
Yes. Yes, he did. He called you an old man.